farmers market at the public library. And people can get access to like the freshest, most local, hyper-local food here, food and craft too. It's it's the holiday season, so there's a lot of people who are doing art and handmade craft stuff as well as just excellent fresh food. Yeah, this is like top tier selection of fresh veggies, produce. There's like eggs and meat here, and people need to have access to that kind of stuff. A lot of food access programs that exist, and a lot of the vendors here can take EBT. The market organization has a cash match here too. So I mean, yeah, if you have HIP, if you have EBT, if you have HIP, you can use it here with a lot of the vendors here. So get access to all that good stuff without dipping into your important change. It's just a great community. Greenfield's like such a good neighborhood feeling here. Everyone's so nice. Yeah, it's a good community. Everyone's always friendly to each other here, and the most important thing for all the farmers is to feed people. And so even if you're a little short on cash or whatever, people here want to feed each other. So it's you come to the farmers market, you get taken care of. Preservation Orchard, and we're in the first conference room there. We've got veggies, we've got lamb, we've got chicken, we've got eggs, we've got wool products from our sheep. We got it all. We got it all, man. And we take cash card, EBT, we can do anything, make sure it's accessible to all.
Right now we're at the final Winter Farmers Market of 2024. It just so happens to be on the solstice. We've been in the Greenfield Public Library. This is our second year doing this. And yeah, we have 25-ish vendors here today from 10 to 1 selling veggies and crafts and so many delicious offerings and nice and warm and cozy on a cold day. Yeah, I mean, it's important to the community in so many ways. I think that access to fresh local vegetables in the winter is really hard to come by, and it's also really important for people who receive financial assistance through food through SNAP and food stamps and HIP and the federal, I don't know what to call it, federal help. And also having it in the library is really connecting a lot of community resources and activities, having crafts upstairs in the makerspace and having people able to come and check out books and also getting their food and veggies and connecting with people at the same time. When we have this in the library, it feels like a really good community hub for people to connect with each other, even if for a short amount of time. So it's been really, really incredible. So we do, in the main season from April to November, we're outside on Court Square every Saturday from 9 to 1:30. And in the winter, November and December, we did every other week, so a bi-weekly market. And then starting in January, we'll go once a month. Once January 11th, February 8th, March 8th, and then beginning of April. So we just switched to once a month in those months until we go back outside. Ideally, we'd like to be doing more, but it's also, the library is a community space and we need to make sure we're balancing things out so that we're not taking up too much space. I just think that this farmers market is really, really special and it brings a lot of people together and it's been here for 50 years, so it's a really, this year was the 50th anniversary of this market, so just a really special thing to be running it and keeping it going for years to come.
It's historical event. I didn't realize it was that long.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
It is.
Since like the 70s.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so Eveline upstairs, who's running the makerspace, she actually just wrote a article in the Recorder about the history of the farmers market and the winter farmers market. She would be a great person to chat with if you're curious about the history at all.
Some free reign of the Greenfield Public Library Makerspace in which to help folks make homemade envelopes and homemade bags, handcrafted, and this is a free workshop that I'm doing. So I've been doing this for years, just making stuff out of calendars. So from the actual calendar pages, so the thinner paper things, I make these handcrafted envelopes. And the reason I do that is that calendars include the most beautiful images. And so at the end of the year, people don't really know what to do with them. They just throw them in the recycling bin or something, or they think, oh, I'll do something with that later, but then they often don't. So I teach people how to make envelopes, and these can actually go through the mail. You know, if you put a address, a stamp, I use mailing labels to just do that, and it's actually very fun because the postal workers love them. You know, they're always processing like phone bills and advertisements, and so they love getting these handcrafted things that they then touch and send through the mail. So that's one thing that I make, and then the other is from the stiffer calendar covers, which is, you know, thicker than the paper. I make these gift bags, and these are a little bit more involved than the envelopes. The envelopes are easy peasy. These are pretty easy, but it just takes a little bit more time and attention. So those, and I make a lot other things, but those are the two things that I'm demonstrating today. So you choose your tool. So you're going to choose a calendar that has a complete front and back with an image that you love, and then we take it from there. So do you want me to choose, or would you like to choose?
What we got here?
There's a lot of different kinds. Hello.
Hey.
Oh my gosh, it's you. I didn't, your haircut's amazing. Come say hi. Calendar. And you can do this with any calendar that you get at home, as long as it has kind of a stiff cover. All right, so what I've done is I've opened the calendar to the center where you find the staples. And that's one of the first things we do, is we take the staples out. These are very easy to remove, but you can use an implement that is designed to remove staples, called a staple remover. I'm just taking them out with my fingers, honestly, because I've done this hundreds of times, and I just find it's as easy to just do it with my fingers. Okay, so now this calendar is no longer all attached to each other, so I can, ta-da, just lift off the cover. And I'm gonna just toss the papers over there. Okay, so here is a nice stiff calendar cover. And we have a few different options. If we want to make a bag that's rectangular, that you could put like a book in or something like that, we're gonna fold it pretty close to the edge. If you'd like to make a square box, you know, that was bigger, that you could put it like a stuffed animal or something in, you would fold it in farther. So we'll try a standard, kind of a standard size gift bag, where we're kind of just doing a fold, kind of like that. So is it okay if I work down here?
Sure.
Will you be able to see? Okay. All right, so this is where being kind of accurate about the folding is pretty important. So you can see, like, if I were a little off, it's going to make the whole thing a little off. So I'm just making really sure I go right to that same edge, and then I adjust it, and I just fold, press down like that. Okay? Then I'm going to grab my tape. Giant tape dispenser. Love it. Okay, so now I have this lovely thing waiting to be met by this other side. And again, I'm just kind of being careful. This is a good time not to rush through this process. So there we go, just folding that other side. So then I just have this thing that's like that. This is the moment where we get the tape going. I'll sometimes just take a tiny piece so I can secure it so that it doesn't get all wonky. And then I take the longer piece, like so. And here's the moment of truth, where I try to do this as accurately as possible. There. So now we have something it's not going to hold anything yet, but it's the right shape. This is where we need to be really careful about how we fold things. So we're going to need a bottom to make this a bag instead of a periscope. Okay, so I'm now going to just go down to the bottom. Yeah. Doesn't matter, you do this way or this way, but I just choose this way. And this is where it's a little trickier because now I'm folding two thicknesses. It's a little harder, but I can do it. And then, just to make it really clear, I turn it over and fold it back the other way. So there are people who can make paper cranes and different things out of lots of fancy folding. I am not one of those people. I can make gift bags. Okay, so now here's the moment where we create the bottom. So what I'm going to do, there's lines that are folded that are going to end up meeting each other. So I don't know if you can see this, but I'm going to go in here and make the bottom. So I'm going to take this edge here, and it's going to go in, and it's going to meet this fold. I wasn't that great at math in high school, but I did love geometry. And this is very geometric, so I'm going to take this and make it go over here. So, and bringing it over to where this is already folded in there, like that. So now, I don't know if you can see, but there's the makings of the bottom of a bag. And then I flip it over and I do the same thing. I bring it in one corner, finding the other fold. I'm going to take this edge here, bring it over and find where I can feel it. I don't even need to see it. I can just touch it with my fingers and know exactly where that previous fold is, and over it goes. Okay, so now I have flaps. See that? And then if I bring it up like that, now I'm going to take a fairly small piece of tape, because as you can see, I want the bag to be pretty much like right angles. Like if it's diagonal, it's not going to be a very efficient bag. So I just kind of look at it. I stick the first piece of tape. There. Now it looks more like a bag, right? But the only problem is we've got some holes. No problem. I go down and I push the insides down. And I'm going to take this piece of tape and just make sure things are secured down there. Another one. And then it is very close to being an actual bag. So now that's looking a little bit more like a bag, but it's not quite secure enough. No problem. I just take the next piece of tape and go wonk. And so it's a lot of just turning things over and like applying pressure so that you've got, and depending on what I'm going to put in it, sometimes I'll reinforce it more. I'll just put another piece of tape and then one more piece of tape. At this point we have a pretty solid bag. You can't carry rocks in this, but you could put a stuffed animal, a book. But how are we going to carry it around? Not to worry. This is where you just need a regular hole puncher, standard issue, and you don't want to put the hole too close to the edge because it could rip through. So I'm going to put that down a little farther and make some holes. And then of course, I'm going to turn the bag around and do the same thing over here. We're almost there. Lastly, I just need can use any kind of ribbon, yarn, as long as it's pretty stable. This is like the mother lode of ribbons, this really wide stuff. It's very beautiful, and you'll see it's kind of color coordinated. So I just eyeball it. I see, yeah, I probably want to have a handle that's, you know, about that big. I give it a little extra because I'm going to tie a knot. And then I want to make sure, remember to make it twice as long because I'm going to want one for the other side. Ta-da! So now this is the part where I want to make sure that this gets cut pretty much in half, just like that. Ta-da! And the last step is dropping the ribbon to the floor and picking it back up. No, putting the ribbon through the hole. And if the ribbon's kind of thick and the hole is tiny, you can just fold it, put it through. There are a couple different ways to tie it. I have found that I like this way, where you take the two ends, you just go like that, pull it through, and then really give it a good tug like that. And then when you pull it back out, you have half of the handles you need. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I'm going to fold it, stick it through the hole. Easy peasy. Same thing here. Pull it through a bunch so you have enough slack. And then you do the same thing on the side. Just really tug, tug, tug. Voila! Now we have a gift bag. And again, you know, say I want to give someone a picture for the holidays. And it goes, ta-da, happy solstice or whatever. Here you go.
Nice.
Isn't that fun? You can put colored tissue paper in or whatever. And I used very few tools. Tape, scissors, ribbon, and a hole puncher. That's it. You don't need any fancy equipment. And of course you just need something to make it out of. Happy crafting. Whatever. It'd be so fun if someone said, I made one of those gift bags. Wow, library's getting busy.
Sure. Hi, I'm from CISA, and I'm a TerraCore member. And one of my projects is designing a community mobile mural that will get used as this backdrop for community events for CISA. And CISA is Community Involved in Sustaining Agriculture. And we're asking questions about what local food means to people. And we're inviting people to make mini murals, and then we're also inviting people to kind of answer some questions. And from those, we'll pull out themes about local food. And I'm going to design a mural that will then become a paint by number that we will feature at summer farmers market, so people can do come out and do paint parties. And the idea is that it has community input. It supports farmers. You know where your food is coming from. You are eating food from the shared land that you live on or live near, and I think that is really important. And I think buying locally means that you'd probably eat healthier. Good question. We've got all kinds. We have one about like what does equity in local food mean to you? What is your earliest memory of food? Well, I've got to remember some of them.
What's your connection to farming and gardening?
Oh yeah, what's your connection to farming and gardening? What's your favorite farm in the valley? There's a lot to choose from. And what's your favorite local crop from the valley? Yeah, so it's just a few, but it's all about local food, local farms, and staying connected. Oh, yeah, that's a good question. We're popping up at different winter farmers markets all around the 3 counties. So we'll be at the Holyoke YMCA, the Holyoke Senior Center, we'll be at Forest Park in Springfield, we'll be at the Senior Center in Northampton, we're here. I'm missing one. We'll be at Eastworks in East Hampton, so at that farmers market, and then we'll probably cycle through and do them again, and just as a way to get a cross section from different counties of how people feel about local food. I think it'll just depend on how many people are participating. So, you know, people that are watching this, like if you see us, come over and put your input in, because we need that to just be able to figure out, like, oh, what are the themes? And I'll pull from those themes and then just sit down and start sketching out ideas. So, I mean, it could take, you know, anywhere from, you know, a few hours to multiple days. Just depends. It's a mobile mural, so it's essentially will be a backdrop, and it can be used. You know, we go out and we do a lot of different tabling events, and all across the valley, and so we will have this mural that will be the backdrop of our tent, but it can also be used in fundraising or just other different types of community events, and just that idea of, like, you know, all this input that has kind of gone into it. But it'll be on canvas, so it'll be able to be rolled up and moved about as needed. We want to hear from, you know, the community, what people think about it, and get people talking about why it's important to them and how they feel about it.
Thank you.
Cool.